They brandish outrage, joy, and questionable fashion choices. Hired to be fired, they are the managers.
The league's managers today are just as big or even bigger than the players.
The way they dress, who they're married to, the way they live their lives, the relationships with the players, they are fully part of the narrative that makes the English Premier League so special.
This is the season of the new manager at the super clubs. David Moyes at Manchester United, leaving Everton, taking over from Fergie after 26 years, Sir Alex Ferguson. That's huge for Man United. Pellegrini coming in at Manchester City. The pressure is on them. They're desperate to get back into the winner's circle. But for me, the most important managerial appointment during the off-season was Jose Mourinho coming back. He's a character, but he's also, I think, going to take Chelsea back to challenge Manchester United. And you could even suggest that Chelsea are narrow favourites to win the title this year, mainly because Jose Mourinho is back.
He will bring to the Premier League so much joy. He will bring drama. He will be controversial. He has an aura around him. And I think altogether, that kind of perfect package has elevated him up to this kind of, mythical figure.
He made them what they were. He arrived, he said he was the special one.
I think I'm a special one.
He backed up his talk by taking them to victory, and then he went off. He left them, took other clubs to victory as Chelsea somewhat lost their way. Now he's back. A second coming.
Brendan Rodgers was this manager who was hired by Liverpool. He had had a couple great seasons. He had brought Swansea into the Premier League, much hype. There was a show called Being Liverpool that sort of was a docudrama following his entry into Liverpool. And I got to say, like, I thought the guy was kind of a clown. He was like a character like Steve Carell out of The Office. You know, he had a weird organizational system, and things he said sort of didn't ever really make any sense, and you could sort of see the players snickering at him behind his back.
Steven Gerrard!
We'll see if Brendan Rodgers can turn it around, but I wouldn't be particularly optimistic if I were a Liverpool fan.
I think the obvious answer to who the most significant new manager is going to be would be David Moyes at Manchester United, because he's replacing Sir Alex Ferguson, who was there for years.
Sir Alex Ferguson, who's arguably the best manager in the history of English football. He's sort of the Vince Lombardi of English football. And how do you replace that guy?
Manchester United makes the Yankees look like a JV basketball team. They're worldwide, and he's been given the keys to the greatest franchise in all of sports. All he has to do is not screw it up.
Your job now is to stand by our new manager.
If Moyes fails, how are the fans in Manchester going to react? I mean, I can imagine them literally trying to chase the guy down and light him on fire.
The Premier League, it's like the Bond franchise. You know, Sean Connery, Sir Alex Ferguson leaves. In comes Roger Moore, Jose Mourinho returning again. It's the perfect time for Jose Mourinho to come back into the league at the point that Sir Alex Ferguson has left this enormous vacuum. It's going to be brilliant, brilliant, brilliant this season.
Paolo Di Canio is probably the most extraordinary managerial character in the Premier League.
A man whose love of Benito Mussolini is so open, he has El Duce tattooed on his forearm. He's come up to Sunderland, the mining town, and he saved them from a dour time at the end of last season. Whether he can last this entire season is going to be fascinating.
Is he going to take them to the edge of Europe, or is he going to somehow bankrupt them in an incredible, crazy fireball?
When a player scores a goal, he goes all Edward Munch on the sideline as if it was him who scored the thing.
Memorable celebration from the new manager. Just shows you what it means to them.
Goal celebrations for managers. We shouldn't even be talking about this, but we've seen some great ones. Paolo Di Canio last year slides onto the playing surface on his knees to celebrate.
He's a great lover for doing the kind of knee slide along the side of the pitch. I mean, his laundry bill must be unbelievable, like grass stains every week.
Sir Alex Ferguson used to get this little jump for joy with his little fist, you know, punching in celebrations.
They're not very skilled in their celebrations of things, you know, and then there are some guys who literally, you know, their team scores the most amazing goal in the last second to win the game, and they just show no reaction at all. There's some guys who are very sophisticated, and there are some guys that just look like they've been in a bar for 5 weeks and just showed up and rolled out of bed.
Well, the fashion of managers is under debate. Of course, it's under scrutiny. There's so many isolated shots of managers on the sideline, and it's kind of a joke in England. What are you? What manager are you? Are you a suit guy or a tracksuit guy?
Yeah, it seems to be either tracksuits or suits. Those are the two main options.
If I was going to be a manager, I'd be suited and booted. You know, I like someone like Roberto Martinez. I think he's always looked sharp on the sidelines, you know, with his tie and his little blue jacket.
Andre Villas-Boas at Spurs looks like a sort of Calvin Klein model most of the time. I know a lot of my female friends have got a very soft spot for Spurs because of that.
Arsene Wenger is known for many things. One of them is his giant puffy coat.
Arsene Wenger loves wearing this kind of giant, like, Michelin Man costume. Do you guys have the Michelin Man here?
No one on the team is going to give the boss a hard time about his jacket.
How long will Arsene Wenger's coat get? Will it actually cover his feet by the end of the season? That thing is just getting longer and longer.
And it's a mystery as to what's inside it. I think we're going to find out this year. And I think it's the money he hasn't spent in the last 6 years.
The style doesn't say much about them. They can do what they want. I feel like their actions on the side of the pitch says a lot more and does a lot more for the team. Managers that are out there and almost playing with the team, I find have much better results. Arsene Wenger, even in his sleeping blanket, will come out onto the touchline. Jose Mourinho celebrates with his team. Di Canio celebrates more than his team. Being on the touchline helps. Doesn't matter what you wear, as long as you wear your personality well.
When we come back, the deep pockets and sky-high egos of Barclays Premier League